Hello and welcome back. So in the last episode we were discussing on test strategies for conventional software, and today I'm going to discuss on test strategies for object-oriented software. So let's first see the steps are the same, and the testing process are the same for everything that we have: unit testing, integration testing, everything. So in the context of object-oriented software, we are going to look on what is unit testing. So an encapsulated class is usually the focus of unit testing. Okay. Here, operations or method within the class are the smallest testable units which we are supposed to perform testing on operations or methods within the class. So encapsulation drives the definition of classes and objects. This means that each class and each instance of a class, packages, attributes, data, and the operations that manipulate these data all are encapsulated, and we call it as a drive. So class testing for object-oriented software is the equivalent of unit testing for conventional software. And class testing for OO software is driven by the operations encapsulated by the class and the state behavior of the class. State behavior means whether the class is in a ready state or in a processing state, whatever it is like. Then we have integration testing in the object-oriented context. There are two different strategies for integration testings of object-oriented system. The first strategy is the thread-based testing, which integrates the set of classes required to respond to one input or event for the system. Okay, so we have a set of classes which is required to respond to one input or event for the system. That is thread-based testing. And here each thread is integrated and tested individually. Okay. So here also we apply the regression testing so that we ensure that there are no side effects. And the second integration approach is the use-based testing approach, which begins the construction of the system by testing those classes called the independent classes that use very few server classes. Okay, so we use-based testing is based on the construction of the system by testing independent classes of the system. Okay, after the independent classes are tested, the next layer of classes called dependent classes will be there. Okay, so just based on an inheritance hierarchy that use the independent classes are tested. Now the sequence of testing layers of dependent classes continues until the entire system is constructed. So drivers can be used to test operations at the lowest level and for the testing of whole groups of classes. So in use-based testing, we use drivers. Now stubs can be used in situations in which collaboration between classes is required, but one or more of the collaborating classes has not yet been fully implemented. So same as in conventional software integration testing, we make use of drivers and stubs. Now clusters testing is one step in the integration testing of OO software, that we are dividing the components into clusters, and there will be a driver to control all these clusters. Now, our next topic is validation testing. So, validation testing begins at the culmination of integration testing. That is, after integration testing only, we can start with validation testing. When individual components have been exercised, the software is completely assembled as a package. Okay. After testing the individual component, the software is completely assembled as a whole package, and interfacing errors have been uncovered and corrected. On this stage, that is as a complete whole stage, we perform the validation testing. Testing focuses on user visible actions and user recognizable output from the system. Okay, so here it focuses on user visible actions, means what inputs the user are giving for testing the software, and user recognizable output means what the user wants from the system. Okay. Now, we will say a simple definition of validation testing. That means validation succeeds when software functions in a manner that can be reasonably expected by the customer. So, it is based on completely customer review. Okay, in validation test criteria, a sub point coming under validation testing is the validation test criteria. So, software validation is achieved through a series of tests that demonstrate conformity with requirements. Okay. So here a test plan outlines the classes of tests to be conducted, and a test procedure defines specific test cases that are designed to ensure that all functional requirements are satisfied, all behavioral characteristics are achieved, all content is accurate and properly presented, all performance requirements are attained, documentation is correct, and usability and other requirements are met. So actually, in short, we can say that a system as a whole is being tested in the validation test criteria. Okay. In validation test, at the validation or system level, the distinction between the conventional software, object-oriented software, and web app disappears. It is tested as a whole. The system is tested as a whole. There is no concept of conventional software or object-oriented software or web apps. Okay. Now, after each validation test case has been conducted, one of two possible conditions exist. That is, a function or performance characteristic conforms to specification and is accepted, or either a deviation from specification is uncovered and a deficiency list is created. So, what is deficient there is being corrected prior to scheduled delivery. Now, configuration review. Another important element of the validation process is a configuration review. The intent of the review is to ensure that all elements of the software configuration have been properly developed, and these elements are also catalogued and have the necessary detail to strengthen the support activities, that is the maintenance activities. So the configurations review is sometimes called an audit. Audit means what we do. We will keep track of all the elements inside of a, suppose if it is a college audit means we'll keep track of all the files in the college, right? Likewise, configuration review is keeping track of all the elements that have been properly developed, and we are cataloging it also. Now, in validation technique, we have alpha and beta testing. So when custom software is built for one customer, okay, a series of acceptance tests are conducted to enable the customer to validate all requirements. So acceptance testing is done by the customer. That is, the customer is giving input, and when it is accepted by the customer only, the software is being successfully developed. So an acceptance test can range from an informal test drive to a planned and systematically executed series of steps. So it can be conducted over a period of weeks or months so that we can find out errors that might degrade the system over time. So all the time it is being reviewed by the customer, being tested by the customer, so that we can degrade the system over time. And most software product builders use a process called alpha and beta testing to uncover errors that only the end user seems to be able to find. So alpha and beta testing comes under the acceptance testing format. So let's see what is it. So an alpha test is conducted at the developer's site by a representative group of end users. So while it is with the developer only, the alpha test is conducted by the end user. So it is conducted in a controlled environment. A beta test is conducted at one or more end user sites. That is, from so many places, I mean so from so many sites it is being tested. That is known as beta testing. So unlike alpha testing, here the developer generally is not present. So we can say that beta testing is a live application of the software in an environment that cannot be controlled by the developer. We are in a live manner, we are giving the system or the software to the end user sites, like one or more end user sites, and they are being tested from their format. Now the customer records all problems, real or imagined, that are encountered during beta testing and reports these to the developer at regular intervals. Then only the developer tends to work on the software. So as a result of problems reported during beta test, you make notifications and then prepare for release of the software product to the entire customer base. So this is how beta testing is done. Okay, but on the other side, alpha testing is done with the inside the context of a developer site. So the developer will be present there. Okay. So a variation on beta testing called customer acceptance testing is sometimes performed when custom software is delivered to a customer under contract. The customer performs a series of specific tests in an attempt to uncover errors before accepting the software from the developer. Now we have the next topic, that is system testing. It is actually a series of different tests whose primary purpose is to fully exercise the computer-based system. Okay, that is we are pakka testing a software that is being completely pakka, which is computer-based. Okay, so each test has a different purpose. All work to verify that system elements have been properly integrated and perform allocated functions. So first system testing that we are doing is the recovery testing. Recovery testing is a system that test that forces the software to fail in a variety of ways and verifies that the recovery is properly performed. So first of all, we'll force the software to fail in order to perform a faster recovery process. So if recovery is automatic, reinitialization, checkpoint mechanisms, data recovery and restart are evaluated for correctness. And if recovery requires human intervention, the mean time to repair, that is the MTTR, is evaluated to determine whether it is within the acceptable limits. Now we have the next system testing mechanism, that is security testing. Security testing attempts to verify that protection mechanisms built into a system will in fact protect it from improper penetration. So penetration means unauthorized access. Okay. So during security testing, the tester plays the roles of the individual who decides to penetrate the system. And the tester may attempt to acquire passwords through external clerical means, may attack the system with custom software designed to break down any defenses that have been constructed. So same like a hacker. Then we have the stress testing. That is, stress testing executes the system in a manner that demands resources in abnormal quantity, frequency or volume. Okay, so giving stress more on the software. So special tests may be designed that generate 10 interrupts per second when 1 or 2 is the average rate. Input data rates may be increased by an order of magnitude to determine how input functions will respond. The test cases that require maximum memory or other resources are executed. All these cases are examples of stress testing. Okay, test cases that may cause thrashing in a virtual operating system are also designed. Now, test cases that may cause excessive hunting for disk resident data are also created. And a variation of stress testing is a technique called sensitivity testing, where a very small range of data contained within the bounds of valid data for a program may cause extreme and even erroneous processing or profound performance degradation. So here sensitivity testing attempts to uncover data combinations within valid input classes that may cause instability or improper processing. We have the next category, that is performance testing. Is designed to test the runtime performance of software within the context of an integrated system. So after integration, we are designing to test the runtime performance of the software. So it occurs throughout all steps in the testing process and are often coupled with stress testing and usually require both hardware and software instrumentation. That is resource utilization. We have to measure the resource utilization that have been required for both hardware and software. Then we have the last one, that is the deployment testing. Sometimes called configuration testing, exercises the software in each environment in which it is to operate. So in addition, deployment testing examines installation procedures, specialized installation softwares, then documentation, that is which is to be used to introduce the software to end users. So I hope today's class was understandable. We get to know so many testing methods, that is validation testing, system testing, then inside validation testing, acceptance testing, under that alpha and beta testing. Thank you so much.